Today I'm going to be reimagining classic Middle Eastern treats and turning them into ice cream. We're talking a Karak Chai ice cream flavoured with delicate spices, a full-bodied date and Turkish coffee ice cream seasoned with cardamom, and a baklawa flavoured ice cream that tastes like the best baklawa you've ever tried. We're going to put my imagination to the test and see if these flavours are any good.
So let's start with the Karak Chai flavour, which is a spiced tea that's popular all over the Arabian Peninsula. It's made with floral and aromatic spices like saffron and cardamom, and people drink this even in the summer heat, so an ice cream is going to be fantastic to cool off. I'm going to start by taking a chunk of frozen ginger and grating it really fine so its flavour can really be absorbed. Then I'll move over to the stove, and in a small pot I'll pour in heavy cream and then some evaporated milk. The evaporated milk is key to Karak's unique flavour and silky smooth texture, and together with the cream it will form the base of the ice cream. After that I'm adding 30 grams of cream cheese, which is an optional ingredient to help make the texture of the ice cream smoother. Now to flavour this I added light brown sugar, which adds a slight caramel flavour, followed by a good amount of strong black tea. Make sure the tea you're using has a strong flavour like Assam tea so it can really shine through. I follow that up with the grated ginger, cardamom pods, cloves, a little saffron and then some salt. If you're missing any of those spices, just leave them out. I turned the heat up to medium, then mixed everything together and heated it gently for about 8 minutes. Once it started to steam, I waited for it to start bubbling on the surface and then I switched off the heat and let it sit. We want to really infuse this with the flavour of the tea and spices, so give it at least an hour to infuse. 1 hour later, this is what the ice cream base looked like. It's quite thick and apparently that might have something to do with the ginger being fresh. All in all, the colour looks good, so the next step was to strain out all the bits using a fine strainer. This will catch all of the loose tea and spices that went into the pot so no one gets a spicy bite by accident. Once that's done, you'll have a mixture that looks like this. Don't worry if yours looks a bit looser. You might also have tiny particles of black tea left in there, but that's completely fine. The mix is now ready and so it's time to turn it into ice cream. To do that I'm not going to be churning it with a regular ice cream machine, and instead I'm going to use this thing, a Ninja Creamy. Now if you don't have one, it's definitely worth the hype, but I think these ice cream bases will still churn in a regular ice cream machine. If you give them a try, report back in the comments and let us know. For this machine, all I need to do is take a special container and fill that with the ice cream mix we prepared, just making sure not to exceed the maximum fill line. Once filled, I add it on the lid, and then place that in my freezer to freeze for 24 hours. I've always dreamed of saying this. Here's one I made earlier, which has frozen for 24 hours until it turned into a solid block of frozen karak. And now this is where the machine comes in, because I just add in the tub of frozen karak and hit the ice cream button, and it's going to shave the ice and blend it together, leaving me with ice cream. On the first run through, it came out all powdery, which is normal with this machine, so I went back, I hit the respin button, and when it finished, this was the result. Get a load of how creamy it turned out. We were shocked when we first tried this. This is not a sponsored video in any way, but if you like ice cream, this machine is incredible, link in the description. Of course that meant we had to scoop up the ice cream and dig right in.
Alright, let's see. Oh god. The spices and the tea come through on that so well, and the evaporated milk seems to have given it this slightly chewy texture. It's really nice. Honestly, I think this might even be an upgrade.
So the second flavour I wanted to tackle is date and coffee, as dates are often served alongside coffee in the Middle East. I started off by making a quick coffee extract by heating up 50 grams of full fat milk in the microwave until warm, and then adding instant espresso powder. I mixed that together and set it aside, then I took some cream cheese and microwaved it for 30 seconds until it was soft and jiggly. I added that to a jug with more full fat milk and blended it together for a few seconds. After that came the dates, for which I used some soft medjool dates that I pitted and then added into the jug. Now I'm just going to blend them together for a short while until the dates have broken down, leaving me with a thick date milkshake. This is pretty good tasting stuff, but it does have a bit of grittiness from the date skins, so I'll remove them by running the mixture through a sieve. Once that's smooth, I added in the coffee extract and then followed it up with 150 grams of heavy cream to form the base. The last ingredient is some ground cardamom, and it might sound weird, but in the Middle East we add cardamom to coffee to flavour it. I'll round that out with a pinch of salt and then give it a very thorough whisk. All of that dissolved nicely, and when it was ready I took another container and poured in the mixture. Again, this went into my freezer for 24 hours, and here's the one I prepped the day before. This time I ran it under a tap first, which helps de-ice the outermost layer, and then plugged that into the Ninja Creamy and hit the ice cream button. After the first spin it was thick, but I put that back in and hit respin, and it came out super creamy. Look how nice that scoops. I then chopped off some dates into small pieces and topped the ice cream before trying it out.
Let's check out what this date one has to say for itself. That is just so good. If you're a big fan of coffee, this might just be your new favourite flavour of ice cream. Honestly, too good.
The final flavour we're going to make is a baklawa flavoured ice cream, and we're going to start by making an ice cream base flavoured with orange blossom. First I microwaved some cream cheese for 30 seconds until it softened. Then I added that to a jug with some full fat milk and gave it a whisk to combine. After that I added a load of heavy cream, and then to sweeten and thicken the mix I added condensed milk. Lastly I added a pinch of salt, and then to flavour a small amount of orange blossom. Orange blossom has a really powerful flavour, so make sure you measure it properly. I gave everything a thorough mix until well combined, and then all I needed to do was pour it into a container and freeze it for 24 hours. Now that won't magically turn into baklawa ice cream without some baklawa, so I got some from the store and I set a couple of pieces aside to go in the freezer. This time I took the frozen tub and ran it on the gelato setting, which gives us a denser ice cream. Now it's not done yet, but I recommend tasting it because I've always found orange blossom boring, yet this ice cream tastes fantastic. I then dug a hole in the centre of the ice cream and added in the frozen pieces of baklawa. Now we're going to take advantage of the mixing functionality on the machine, which will break the baklawa into pieces and spread it in the ice cream, leaving us with this. We've got pieces of nuts everywhere, and the baklawa has practically merged into the ice cream. I would recommend either eating this right away before the baklawa softens, or just use the baklawa as a topping if you're going to eat this over several days. To serve this I dished out a scoop and then crushed some pistachios and added them on top. Or another way you can do this is by taking the top off a piece of baklawa, adding in the ice cream and then putting it back together. Now let's check out this final ice cream and see how it tasted.
You know how when you make something so good and you're surprised by how it turns out? Well, this is that. The orange blossom flavour comes through amazingly, and yeah, it tastes like baklawa. It tastes exactly how I wanted. Of course, I have to try out this baklawa ice cream sandwich. That is incredible. Baklawa didn't have any right to get any better than it already is, but wow. That's probably one of the best desserts I've ever had. You need to try this, and if you're looking for a baklawa recipe to try it out, well, make sure to check out my baklawa video over here.